Now, what I want to talk to you about now is about my new series that I'm bringing. I'm very excited about it because it's going to be about police stories, my personal police stories. And in my wildest dreams, I never would have thought I would have become a policeman. Not at all. It was not even on my radar. Was being a cop ever on your radar? Not my radar. But why don't you become a policeman? And this is what I truly said. I said this to both of them. Well, maybe in a 1 in a million chance I stop somebody, that'd be the one that shoot me. Back to that first day on the job. First day. Put yourself in my shoes. See it through my eyes. First, my interaction with the Confederate flag and those behind it. And the dog came out, the lady said, he won't bite, he won't bite. The dog was trying, and I said, ma'am, grab the dog. And the dog come out, I just, of course, whacked him with it. And then bowed his head, went down, but that's another story, okay? And it looked like they were up to no good, and here I am, scared. Seriously, scared. Hi, this is Robert Wilkins, aka Basketball Tall. Welcome to my channel. I'm glad that you're with me here today because today is a special day. Today is my 1-year anniversary as a YouTube creator on this channel. And of course, I'll tell you about that a little bit later. But in today's topic, I'm going to talk about my 1st year anniversary here, as well as a new series that I'll be starting on this channel of my personal experience as a police officer. And of course, I want to take you on that journey with me and give you some insights and maybe even put yourself in my shoes. So stay tuned for that. That's something that's going to be coming up as far as my experience as a cop, as well as in the field of criminal justice. So stay tuned for that. And I'm excited about the series I'm going to start because I have a lot of stories. But like I said, the most important thing is that I want to share this with you, and I want you to put yourself in my position. And some of the things I'll ask, what would you do? I want you to stick with me throughout this because near the end, I'm going to give you a piece of a story near the end as to my first day on the job. My first day on the job as a police officer. So you don't want to miss that. You got to hear this because it was an experience. I have people that ask me often, why the name Basketball Tall? Where did that name come from? Well, I must say that I was in the elevator one day and this lady, she was about 5 feet 2 inches tall. And I'm not that tall, but I am 6 feet 6 inches. So I'm 6'6". And this lady was in the elevator and she looked up at me and she said, wow, you're basketball tall. Now, I must say, when she said that, it dawned on me later. I thought, man, that's a great catch. So eventually, yes, I made it an LLC, so it is a business. But how I got involved in this YouTube experience was by accident, actually. I knew of YouTube and I watched YouTube, mainly watching Sunday school lessons. And then ultimately, when I retired, December the 1st, 2019, I was no longer a state employee. So I had developed a plan and purchased equipment and everything else to do public speaking because I did a lot of that when I was in public service. But then, as we know, right around the corner before I even got out the gate, COVID-19 hit and everything got quashed. People weren't public speaking anymore. People weren't on television like we normally saw them. And so all of a sudden now social media got really big. And then people started doing a lot of things like this, on this type of platform. So a friend told me about YouTube because during my retirement ceremony, and I thought, which was grand, by the way, I wanted to share that with some people, but I couldn't send it across through email or anything like that because the file was too large. And so a friend told me about YouTube, in which you can, download that on YouTube. You'll be able to send it to wherever you want to send it. So when I did that, then I got introduced some people out there on the social media platform. When I came across a lady by the name of Gillian Perkins. And she was talking about YouTube as a business opportunity. And keep in mind, my new business, my intentions was to do to public speak. All of a sudden now it's been quashed. I can't do it. And to discover about YouTube as a business through Gillian Perkins. She was the first one I encountered that I learned about this platform. So I set out on it, in which I do what I do today. And I hope in this first year that I provided some good content for you, because content is king. Many people watch YouTube searching for information. Some do it for entertainment purposes, and of course educational and motivation and inspiration and everything else. And so my platform was built to provide motivation, encouragement, inspiration, to those people that had no idea what they wanted to do with their lives. And the thing about it is, I bring those superstars to you, those local stars that's right in our communities all across this country. And that's what I bring to you, to give those of you that may not have decided what you want to do with your life yet, or maybe you've gone in the direction, maybe you want to change to something else, or maybe you just need a little bit of encouragement that day. Maybe you're probably down in the pits, they need a little pick-me-up. And that's what I provide. Those superstars providing their stories, giving you gold nuggets that can help you on this journey of life. Now, I'm sporting this t-shirt today. As you can see, it says basketball tall. Now, on the back side, I have my traditional saying, and which of course I have written on the back, that says basketball tall, which is my trademark. And by the way, it is officially trademarked. And the thing it says on the back, we don't know what other people see in us, but we do know what we see in them. Think about that just for a minute. We don't know what people see in us. You don't know what people see in you. When I'm talking to somebody or visiting somebody, they have no idea what I see in them. But one thing we do know is how we see them, what we think of them, what we see in them. So that's the saying on my back. And by the way, I will be marketing these and other apparel in the near future. Now, I'm still working on a deal, working out things as far as, being able to market these and put them at a good, reasonable price, in which, you'll be on my website, basketballtall.com, or, eventually there'll be provided a link on this site as far as my channel, in which someone can go there and purchase these. And of course, they come in various colors as well. So stay tuned for that. And I'm very excited about that, because Basketball Tall is a brand. It has really nothing to do with your height. It's a brand. And of course, and what I provide and the content that I provide on this channel is a way of life of helping somebody. Since today is my anniversary, I want to do something special. Here's what I'm going to do. Now, I don't have a whole lot of these t-shirts on hand, okay, but I do have some. So for the next 7 people that send me their email, and if you would, put in the subject column, Basketball Tall. And by doing so, if you send me your name, your mailing address, and make certain you include your zip code, and with the subject line, Basketball Tall, the first 7, I will send you one of these t-shirts. And also with the information on the back as well. So go ahead and do it now, because the first 7, I'm going to send those out to you free. No charge is what I want to do. And of course, like I said, later on, when everything's up and running, as far as where you can purchase this and other apparel later on down the line, and I'll let you know about that when it comes. Now, what I want to talk to you about now is about my new series that I'm bringing. I'm very excited about it, because it's going to be about police stories, my personal police stories. And in today's time, with everything that's going on in this world, some may say, is that a good topic to talk about? I think so, because police are human too. And I think that the majority of the cops that's out there are not all bad. Just like in every profession, you got bad in every profession. I don't care if you're a teacher, I don't care if you're an engineer, I don't care what you are. There are bad in every profession. But in the law enforcement field, because of the power that it holds and the weapons that you carry on your side, it's in a different arena. And the thing about it is, because you have to protect the public, But, there's things that go along with that also, and how the public receive us and how the public interact with us or not. And I want you to understand what my journey was like. How I ended up taking a job how I didn't want. In my wildest dreams, I never would have thought I would have become a policeman. Not at all. It was not even on my radar. Was being a cop ever on your radar? Not my radar. I grew up in public housing. I ran from the police, and some of my friends may be watching this right now was with me when we were running. Not just that, I've been up on the wall. I know what it's like when you're being patted down and going through. I understand that. So, being a cop, the last thing I wanted to do. But when I was in the insurance industry, and I was doing very well, but I got upset and I got mad. I was young, like a lot of us. We do stupid things, right? And I quit simply because my director said he was going to do something and he didn't do it. And I got upset because he was not a man of his word. And I quit. Then, before you know it, here I am watching T.J. Hooker, with William Shatner. That show used to come on back in the 80s. T.J. Hooker, who was a cop, William Shatner. So I'm watching that. I'm thinking, hey, I can become a dispatcher. I can be behind the scenes until I can get me a coaching, teaching job. So I applied to be a dispatcher at Ardmore PD, Police Department, and I was not living in Ardmore. I was in Ada. And the thing is, my wife's cousin, she was the assistant chief of police secretary. I called her and asked her about it. She said, sure, Wilk, we have a dispatcher job open. So then I went and I applied. The chief of police interviewed me and started talking to me about being a cop. Of course, he said police officer. But when we say cop or whatever, okay? And I turned him down. And then I go back home, newly married, little bitty baby, and as you know, financial responsibility. And I was not going to be one of those that shunned my responsibility. So then I called Teresa up and she said, well, sure, we have 2 dispatcher jobs open now. But she said, I'm going to just tell you, we don't have any black patrolmen. She said, we need a black cop, Forest Patrol. And I know I didn't want to be no cop. Think about that. Sometimes blessings comes in disguises, don't they? And for me, this was truly a disguise that I could not see. But I look back on it now in hindsight, it was God-led. But the thing is, this time I'm interviewing with the chief of police. He brought in the assistant chief, and they started talking to me about becoming a policeman. I never had anyone ever in my life wanted me to take a job so bad. And they asked me, well, why don't you become a policeman? And this is what I truly said. I said this to both of them. Well, maybe in a 1 in a million chance I stop somebody, that'd be the one that shoot me. And then they gave me statistics of store clerks getting killed compared to policemen, firemen getting killed compared to policemen. And then they told me, we want you, talk it over with your wife and all of that. And, I talked to my mom about it. I talked to friends about it. People telling me, you'll be good at it. I can't do it, but you'll be good at it. And then you have your friend tell you about, man, what are you waiting for? And when I took that job, I must say, the first day, of course, I had to do the psychologicals and all that stuff. But I remember the first day they put that uniform on me, it was a trip. I was tripping. A lot of you know what I'm talking about. Imagine you have on this uniform, this blue uniform, and, you got your badge, and you got, I had my whistle with the chain coming out and all that stuff, and I had my hat on, and I was tripping. And then, of course, they gave me this big old 357 Magnum, and I had, my handcuffs and all this stuff in my belt, and I was tripping. And check this out. Here's my official baton. Look at this thing. They don't carry these anymore, Look at that, and I never used it except on a dog. And the dog came out, the lady said, he won't bite. And the dog was trying, and I said, man, grab the dog. And the dog came out, I just, of course, whacked him with it, and then bowed his head, went down. But that's another story, okay? The life of a policeman, there's, it's great, but it's more to it than just that. So that's why I'm going to take you behind the scenes through my eyes of my experience. Now, one can say, well, small cities is not like the big cities. No, they're not. You just have more crazies. But they all answer the same calls. They all go through very similar experiences. And the thing about it is, my experience, what I'm going to share with you. Let me continue. As I left the police department station for the first day, and I'm getting ready to go out with my trainer, Officer Kevin Woods at that time. And as I was walking out that station, I'm still tripping, looking at myself, wow, I don't believe I got this uniform and all this gear and all that stuff on me. It was like, wow. And when I walked out, it was like, whoop. Everybody was looking at me, all eyes on me like I was in the zoo, Who is that tall black cop? And I felt it too. You can feel it when people watching you, everybody staring at you. Because I'm the new kid on the block. I'm the new kid in town. And no one ever seen anybody like me before. Plus, I've got a little height on me, And they made me face my fears. You can imagine the chief, assistant chief, gave the orders on down to make certain traffic stop. That was my fear, right? Traffic stop. And I must say, Kevin Woods driving, we got the 10 code sheets there. I'm trying to learn all this stuff. He giving me the do's and the don'ts. He's my trainer. Now, in the state of Oklahoma during that time, this was the beginning of the 1990s. And during that time, you could be trained by an officer or someone that's designated, but within that 1 year's time, you must have gone to the police academy and, become certified through the academy. Now, of course, I went 2 months being self-trained, and there was another trainer, Sergeant Dennis Adams, who trained me majority of the time, mainly. He was my main trainer. And but getting back to that first day on the job, first day, put yourself in my shoes. See it through my eyes. First day, walk out, everybody staring at me, wondering who this guy is, And then we make the first stop. It was down at, I'm not going to give the exact location, not today, because I don't want to feel people think I'm picking on certain locations or not. But it was near the edge of town. And there were 4 people in the car. This was daytime. Like I worked there, the day crew, day shift, for over a year. And I must say, and now, when I went to the nights, that's because we had a whole lot of drive-by shootings going on at that time. That's a whole nother story, okay? But the thing is, 4 people in the car, because they made a traffic violation. They didn't stop at the, when they came to the intersection, that's a traffic device, the red light, and they didn't stop, And so we pulled them over, and 4 people in the car. And so Kevin, Officer Woods, telling me the do's and the don'ts. I'm looking at the 10 code sheet, telling me to keep all my eyes on the subjects and this and that, watch his approach, to the car and all of this and that. So I have the door out. Keep in mind now, the car stopped. Officer Woods getting out. He's approaching the vehicle, 4 subjects inside. And by the way, they didn't look like, in the old days, you can tell, you got a good feel for the bad guys compared to the good because, a lot of the bad guys, they had the tattoos and all that kind of stuff. But now today, everybody looked like that, okay? Everybody looked like we just come out the penitentiary. No offense to anybody, okay? But back then, that's just the way it was, okay? And so these folks had that kind of look. And meanwhile, I have my door open on the passenger side. I got 1 foot out on the ground, door open, and I have the mic in my hand, 10 code sheet in front of me. And I radioed our position, where we were, the tag and all the other stuff. Meanwhile, now, here's where it gets real serious, okay? Keep in mind, put yourself in my shoes. You got a traffic stop. Thing that I told the chief of police, that was my fear, okay? Because I'm thinking, what if they shoot? And that's what I was thinking when I was sitting in that car. What if they shoot Kevin? What if there's a shootout? Can I shoot these people? Can I kill these people? All of this was going through my mind. Now, all of a sudden, I'm having a serious talk with God. Seriously, I'm serious. I was talking to God, because this was a very intense moment Me as first day on the job as a police officer, and you have 4 people in the car, and it looked like they were up to no good, and here I am, scared. Seriously, scared. Officers are scared, some of them at times, because they're human too. They do make errors, but you can't do stuff intentional, because officers should be and are supposed to be held to the same standard. Here's a little tip for tat probably people didn't know. Officers are supposed to obey the same laws, even traffic, even when they're patrolling their cars until they get a call. But getting back to my story, I'm talking to God. I'm sweating there, concerned, thinking if there's a shootout, could I really do this? I never in my wildest dreams thought that I'm going to become a cop. And here I am sitting in a police car, and tripping out basically. So then Kevin only gave them a warning. And when he walked back in, I straightened up like everything was okay. But actually, I was terrified. And so that was my first day on the job. And by the way, I didn't let him know I was terrified neither. We don't let people know we're scared, okay? And that was my first day on the job. Now, there are a whole lot of more days that I was on the job that I'm going to talk about in my series. And as you know, there was going to be some challenges along the way. So stick with me, stay with me. And if you haven't subscribed to this channel, please do so right now and help me on my journey to reach my goals as I continue to pour out good content to help somebody on this journey of life. But the thing is, I want you to make certain that you stay tuned, because, by the way, I'm still going to bring those superstars to you, and I already have several already recorded that I'm going to bring to you. But between all of this, I'm going to inject some of these stories, police stories, stories involving the criminal justice field that you're going to be surprised about. One in particular, my interaction with the Confederate flag and those behind it. You need to stay tuned for that. So stick with me. Don't go anywhere. Subscribe, and let's go on this journey together. Be with me as I bring those to inspire and educate you, and also to be part of my police story series. This is Robert Wilkins, a.k.a. Basketball Tall. Thank you for joining in. I'll see you next week.